Class of 2014, you may be seated. You guys look so good. Oh man, okay. Okay, well, let's get this thing started. We finally made it, guys, and I can't think of a better class to graduate with than the class of 2014. For those of you who don't know, I am Leela Killian. I believe one bad thing about going to DCHS is that you don't get to know all of the people in your class. So for all of you who do not know me, I like tacos, rain, and being happy. That's all you need to know for now. I also want to thank you for blessing me with the chance to represent this great class at our graduation. I have always wanted to do this, so thank you so much for this opportunity. It means a lot to me. I didn't really like the idea of the traditional moment of reflection speech, so here's my spin on things. I would like to call it L cubed because it's all about Leela's life lessons. And a lot of these are probably quotes that someone has copyrighted, but it's just a combination of things that I really want to encourage you all with. I have two categories, and I would like to touch on the first one, and it pertains to taking care of you. Learn to love yourself for all the things you are, not hate yourself for all the things you aren't. Accepting yourself will make it much easier to be happy, which brings me to my next tip, happiness. Charles Swindoll once wrote, "I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% on how I react to it." If your mindset is to be happy, then the things that life throws at you will not put you off course. Humility is another trait that will reap happiness. You are never too good to serve someone else. Have a humble heart and you will see the blessings that it blossoms. No one ever went broke by giving too much. This goes for money, time, or talents. No one is the same as you, so use your life to bless others. Give yourself time to always soak things in. Whether it's good or bad, let yourself soak up all of life's excitements, disappointments, achievements, heartbreaks, and falls. You must let yourself capture these moments. Give yourself space to accept and understand the way you are feeling. This will bring peace with yourself. In order to be able to embrace life, you must allow yourself to be alone sometimes. This will help you discover who you really are, who you want to be, and what you want in life, without letting society butt in. Let yourself cry. I mean really cry. You know the kind of crying I mean, where when you get done, this huge weight has been lifted off of your shoulders. And if you're a guy, save me the real men don't cry nonsense. In the words of Usher, no one can see you fly until they see you cry. If people make fun of you for crying, they shouldn't be in your life. We all need an ugly cry every now and then. Know where you are going and remember where you came from was a class quote from a few years ago. I didn't really understand it until I went through high school. I don't know exactly what I want to do with my life, but that doesn't matter. I know that I want to keep improving and find what I love, but I have to remember how far I've come and be proud of myself for that. I can't go back to being that girl I was so many years ago. I must keep progressing and moving forward. Along these lines, you need to work out. I mean that in the nicest way possible. You will feel great about yourself, it'll become a habit, and you will look better than you already do. It doesn't matter what it is, get yourself moving, even if it's just for 15 minutes and you're really rushed. Do something. The biggest thing that I want to encourage you with is finding a relationship with God. I believe in God for many reasons, but one of them is because I have had the hardest year of my life this last year. I have lost friendships that are very dear to me. I have been through so much heartbreak and pain this last year. But one thing that has been constant in my life is the companionship and love that God has poured over me. And I can gladly say that my joy in hard times can only come from the one who knows me so well, God. So know that wherever you are or whatever you are doing, if you allow yourself to trust in God, you will always have a friend in times of need. Speaking of friends, my last and final category is all about taking care of your relationships. No matter what I say, what I believe, or what I do, I am bankrupt without love, is what 1 Corinthians 13 says. It's so true. I have had weeks where I have all this hate in my heart, and honestly, life is awful when you hold all that hate in. But the weeks where I feel like love is just overflowing from my life, I feel whole. I feel complete when I love others, and I challenge you to always do the same. Love also requires being honest. No matter how hard it is to tell the truth, it is absolutely necessary in order to have a healthy relationship with anyone. No matter how hard it is to tell the truth. Oh, I just said that, sorry. If you always tell the truth, you will never have to remember what you said to people. Sometimes honesty leads to having to forgive someone of the wrongs acted upon you. Forgiveness brings a freedom I cannot explain to anyone in words. I had some drama last summer. I prayed about it, and I decided that I would forgive those people before they asked me to. When I made this decision, a huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders, and I have decided to live that way ever since. Holding hatred in your heart is slow suicide. Life holds bigger things than grudges, and we all need to remember that. When you make something of yourself, don't forget who loved you and who was there when no one else was. The people who have literally seen the good, the bad, and the ugly sides are the ones worth keeping around. When you move out, call your parents and just listen to what's going on in their lives. Just because you leave home doesn't mean you have to detach yourself from them. Keep a relationship with them. They did have a part to play in getting you to where you are today. We're so busy growing up that sometimes we forget our parents are also getting older. We need to cherish them. Since I'm on the topic of communication, know that no matter how easy it is to text someone about a serious topic, it means so much more in person. I know this is not always possible, but make it a goal, if it is in your power, to always have serious talks in person or at least over the phone. Back to relationships. Do not let people push you into becoming someone you are not proud of. We're all about to start a new chapter in our lives, and we're so excited about it, but we can't let people push us into becoming something we're not. We will only be clones of everybody else, not our own person. Have the courage to say no to anything or anyone who doesn't make you want to become better. You are only with people for a short amount of time. Don't spend it acting like something you're not. Chase your dreams before you chase a person. The right people for you will respect whatever you want to do and will do what they can to support and encourage you in order for you to be happy. Ask anyone who knows me really well, and they will tell you that I say that actions speak louder than words is a constant saying that comes up in my life. You can talk all you want, but if your life doesn't line up with what you are saying, you're just a fraud. If you want anything in life, friendships, success, fortune, it means nothing if your life doesn't follow up with it. If there is anyone who can sum up my speech to you today, it would be one of my heroes, the selfless Mother Teresa, who once said, "People are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway." If you are kind to people, they may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. We are all called to be world changers, not world conformers. I dare you, class of 2014, to do big things with your life. Be different, be kind, be honest, and always be the best version of you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, family, friends, teachers, and more importantly, the class of 2014. Four short years ago, we began this journey together called high school. I'm sure we can all remember that first year where our only goal was to avoid the seniors at all costs. All that we knew about high school was from the things we saw in movies, like freshmen and the nerds all got beat up and their heads dunked in toilets. To many of our pleasant surprise, none of that happened. Instead, the seniors acted tough and never really did anything. Sophomore year, we lived out our lives. We weren't as bad as the freshmen, but weren't quite upperclassmen. Junior year came, and we thought we were cool, but we were nowhere close. We tried to act big and bad, and it never worked. Finally, senior year. We were the big dogs on campus. The freshmen fear us, and the teachers were all tired of us. This was the year where it was okay to take 3 aid classes and weights. You didn't want to be the one who loads your spring semester with AP Bio, Physics, and English. I was one of those people. It was terrible. What so many seniors don't realize, though, is that high school is only the beginning. We have learned a lot more than just the Pythagorean theorem and how much movies are better than just reading the book. John Adams once said, "There are 2 types of education. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other, how to live." We have learned so much more in these years than we could ever imagine. Throughout school and teachers, we have learned the things to help us make a living. We learn math skills, reading skills, speaking skills, and ways to make gross food taste better. That type of education can only get us so far. What matters is how we live our lives. Our parents have instilled in us many morals and ways of life, some good and some not so good. For me, my parents have prepared me the best way that they know how. From this point on, it is my job to live the best way I was taught. With what we have learned, with what we have learned through our parents and teachers, it is time to chase our dreams. Too many people have dreams and never obtain them. I want this to be the class that reaches our goals, whether it is just to graduate from college or become the president. A dream can never be too big. Never stop chasing after your dreams you have set for yourself. When you finally accomplish that dream, the reward will be greater than anything that you've ever expected. If you have gotten nothing from this speech, remember this. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. Henry David Thoreau. Thank you.
I thought I was ready to do my speech. Sorry, it's a little loud. But I think first I need to take a quick selfie, so. Before I begin, I would like to thank all my mentors, coaches, teachers, Google, SparkNotes, and especially my parents and God. Without you, I would not be the person that I am today. At the end of my 6th grade year, I left Sacred Heart and was homeschooled. After a single year of middle school, I entered the halls of what would be my first public school, Dodge City High School. With no offense to the class of 2015, I could not have been more privileged than to have entered those halls as a freshman than with the class of 2014. Although I did not know very many of you back then, I look around today and see those whom I have grown closest to. Today, I see a class built up of individuals who will stay in my memories for the rest of my life. A class made up of students with strong and bright futures, futures possible with a variety of support that we have received in our high school. Through the hard work of our many teachers, coaches, mentors, administrators, and families that we have so much to thank for. Our experiences throughout our high school career have developed our personalities. We have grown over the years and understood more of the ways of life. We no longer are freshmen that shuffled to party rock anthem in the hallways, or sophomores who worried about who stole our swag. We don't try to make fetch happen like our junior year. No. The last 4 years forced us to grow. Together, we form bonds. We learn from each other and our mentors to push forward and fight on. We encouraged each other through good times and bad. As we go on, let us remember the times that we spent together. And as our lives take us places, we know that we will always have those friends. Class of 2014, let us continue to show the world our capabilities. Let us be the role models to the underclassmen, not through our words, but by our actions, by conquering our fears and overcoming obstacles, not by giving excuses, but by accepting our failures and learning from them. Let us not accept defeat, but despite every challenge, keep on fighting. Because although we have been knocked down the 7th time, we can get up an 8th. We all know as humans, we will fail. It lies within us to choose to learn from these and grow from these failures, or to lead to a life of success. Let us hold true to what makes us happy, and not to what we are told to do. If there is one thing my parents have taught me, it is that in order to carry out a life full of happiness, we must be a well-rounded person in all aspects of our lives. Like I teach the little ones at the martial arts studio, physically, mentally, spiritually, and all with a good character. Fellow graduates, I invite you as you build your futures to consider these aspects. As some of us bury our heads in books, I hope that we do not forget to enjoy life as we are young. As others work to begin our lives, I hope that we may understand that in life we must never stop learning and growing. I hope that as the brightest among us go on to work as professionals, we will not forget to carry ourselves humbly and all with a good character. I hope that we will never stop believing in ourselves, because according to Les Brown, our only limitations are our expectations. Fellow graduates, shoot for the stars, because even if you miss, you will end up on the moon. Let us carry forth our lives and not forget to enjoy the beautiful moments that we have every day. The summer before my freshman year, I had considered taking a scholarship to Thomas More Prep. I have never made a better choice in my life than to be part of Dodge City High School's class of 2014. As the students and teachers leave the school and move on with our lives, I know that we can all look back and know there is no school like Dodge City High School or a class like the class of 2014. Thank you.
Howdy. Today can be a day full of sadness and tears, and these things can and will happen, but I challenge you to make today a day of celebration and memorial, for we have really, truly accomplished something very special, and we deserve to bask in it. As your class historian, I get the privilege to sum up the past 13 years of your law-mandated schooling. I get to sum up 117 months, 4,212 weeks, 758,160 days, 5,307,120 hours, 318,427,020 minutes, and over 19 billion seconds of classroom time. Now, I think Mrs. Luters would be very proud of me that I used dimensional analysis outside of her class. And I'm sure Mr. Lopez already has his calculator out checking my work. But I have many seconds to cover and only so many characters to do it in, so I'll do my best to serve our class the justice it deserves. As we think back all the way to the first couple seconds of entering kindergarten, we were much different, you and I. Some of us were ready to get into kindergarten and conquer the world, and others were still hanging on to our mother's legs, begging not to let go for more time. We entered a world where the most prestigious honor was being the line leader, where our hugest final was to count to 100 on those gigantic beads, and where the coolest kids were the ones with the 84 pack of crayons with the built-in sharpener. And who could forget nap time? After learning that there was another shade of blue, we would drink our juice boxes and take a load off the day's toils. Those were the times we really wish we could relive. After moving down the hall, we found ourselves in grade school. Our teachers gave us the dreaded news that there was more to math than 2 + 2, and there was this thing called science and planets, and it was just all too much for us to take in. The music bug hit some of us hard when we played When the Saints Go Marching In on our recorders. And we also discovered what cooties were and how big of an epidemic that was. But some of us were a little more immune than others. I remember these tunnels in the playground at Lynn where if you weren't married there at least once, you were destined for eternal loneliness. Entering the intermediate centers, we started to gain a little more responsibility. Some of us got cell phones, and we all know the Moto Razors were the iPhones back in the day. We'd spend hours Bluetoothing each other ringtones and songs we downloaded illegally, and we'd call our friends who we knew had their phones on loud in class. But who knew that same year Apple announced the iPhone would soon release? We would soon spend even more time glued to our iPhones and iPods. But I guess much hasn't changed with these iPads. We just got bigger, including the screen. Our worlds were opened up to so much more opportunity. We now had kids in band, choir, and orchestra, and even some of us had a bit of love for the theater. I'll never forget Colton Schulte and I in a production of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I've never said dude or excellent as much as I did in that hour span. And I'm sure life was as active and exciting at Sewell, but the cool kids went to Comanche for sure. But soon we're all reunited. Some of us stayed at Sacred Heart, and I may have not gone to Sacred Heart, but I've heard some crazy stories that probably shouldn't be in the speech. But then we're all reunited at Dodge City Minimum Security Penitentiary, or DCMS for short. I know we won't ever forget walking into the middle school for the first time wearing our Smurf costumes and having our identities totally changed. For the next year, we were no longer called by our first names, but by the name of Sevies. This is where we got lockers for the first time, and at least mine looked like my closet threw up in it. Middle school was a place where we started to discover where we fit in the big puzzle of life. We started to go through many changes as well as our country. We inaugurated our first African-American president during our time in middle school. And regardless of political views, I think we can all say that that was a big landmark in our country. Maybe uniforms and C-team football is nothing compared to the presidency. But to us, middle school was the place where things started to come together and where we started to see glimpses of our futures. There's always moments we wish we could relive or forget, all the conducts or the timeouts, the excitement on non-uniform days, or even the yard time when we were locked in the tennis courts after lunch. But there's this one piece of information I don't think we'll ever forget, and that's how you get extra credit on Mrs. Hires' test. On the top of the page, we had to write, "The best time to give flowers is for no reason at all." And to this day, it still remains true. Entering high school was a huge milestone in our lives. We went from being called Sevies to Freshies. It's quite the promotion, I think. Our freshman year was full of excitement and fear at the same time. I mean, if you took out all the times we got pushed around in the lunchroom, having to do everything last, getting lost all the time, going to the wrong class on a red day, or being totally scared and freaked out of your minds because Jesse Trent was in your weights class and he was going to lift the building next, I'd say it was a pretty good year. Sophomore year was a blur. I mean, the only thing I remember from sophomore year was the time Andy Rios ordered that pizza during the PSAT. The pizza guy walked in and he's like, "Hey, someone order a pizza?" And Andy jumped right out of his seat. But other than that, sophomore year was like that awkward sibling that no one really remembers or, everyone tries to forget. So junior year, that was a big year for us. We were now upperclassmen and we didn't have to intimidate or cut in front of the underclassmen. But we did it anyway, just because we could. Athletics, the arts, and school in general started to become more serious for us because there's this thing called college and growing up and paying our own iPhone bills that was coming up soon. Some of us sat here a year ago thinking of the day that it would soon be our turn to leave a mark in the halls of DCHS, and that time did come. Our senior year was a memorable one. Our football team, soccer team, volleyball team, and our athletics in general left everything on the fields and courts and made something worth people watching. The band had an amazing show, and our fine arts program was great, as they always are. I'd say our student section was the best in the Southwest, and no matter what it was, if it had something to do with DCHS, we were there supporting it. I know we had many laughs, tears, and frustrations this year, whether it was losing someone close to us, or sitting in Deuce's class on test day wondering if the president made his tests, or reading Gulliver's Travels and thinking that this was never going to end. Maybe it was our senior nights, crying our eyes out, wishing for one more time, for one more play, for one more run-through. Regardless of what it was, I know in our hearts we did what we could with our time here. And now today, look around, sitting here over 19 billion seconds later, thinking if my speech will ever end. Don't worry, we're close. Some of us are sitting here with the same mindset we entered kindergarten with. Some of us are ready to go out to college and conquer the world, and others, we're still hanging on to our mother's legs, begging for more time to not let go. If there's something I learned in over 19 billion seconds, it'd be this. Your direction, not intention, determines your destination. Your direction, not intention, determines your destination. It does not matter how bad you want to go to Wichita. If you drive west on 400, you'll end up in Colorado every time unless you take the right direction. You'll never become the nurses, musicians, engineers, or whatever it is you intend to be without direction. It's not until you take those nursing programs, music classes, technical courses, or whatever it is that you'll start to see your destination and focus. In the book of Proverbs, Solomon, the wisest man to have ever lived, tells of a young man who he saw lack judgment and fall into the lie our culture still finds relevant today. Our culture loves to pound the idea of good intentions in our head. Our culture loves to tell us, as long as you meant well, you'll end up where you want to be. But that's totally wrong. Intentions alone will get you nowhere, but it's when you intentionally put yourself on the right path, you find your way to the destination you intended. So as you walk away today, and you write your new stories, your new histories, I challenge you to ask yourselves, is the path, the direction I'm taking, ultimately going to lead me where I want to be? Your direction, not intention, determines your destination.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Miller, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education for USD 443, and I'm honored to be here this morning to follow those wonderful speakers. Let's give them a hand, please. I bring greetings to you on behalf of Alan Cunningham, Superintendent of Schools, who's attending the wedding of his nephew in Oklahoma. When Mr. Cunningham asked me to speak in his place, I promised Ms. Feist I would only talk for 4 minutes. Unfortunately, that was after I had prepared a 30-minute address to you all, so sit back and relax. I'm kidding, Ms. Feist. First, I'd like to take time to introduce the members of the USD 443 Board of Education and the district administrators who are with us today. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing, and audience members, if you would hold your applause until I've completed the introductions. Board of Education President Lisa Killian, Board members Jeff Hires, Tracy Rankin, and Tammy West, Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Education Judy Beatles Miller, Executive Director of Human Resources Susan Shearling, Executive Director of Management Information Services Ray Whiff. Please join me in thanking these people for their commitment to the students and staff of our school district. Thank you. Before I continue, I want to say a special thank you to Ms. Feist and to the entire administration, faculty, and staff at Dodge City High School. Thank you for your work and dedication to these students. Now, graduates, on behalf of your fellow students, the faculty and staff of Dodge City Public Schools, the Board of Education of Unified School District 443, I congratulate you on your achievements. Class of 2014, we're proud of you, and I'm certain that the family and friends and those who celebrate with you today share deeply in that pride too. I took the opportunity this past couple of weeks to visit with a few members of your graduating class, and here's what I found out. Upon growing up, one of you wants to be the Attorney General of the United States, and she knows who she is. One of you wants to discover the secret to immortality, yet another wants to be a surgeon, and one of you wants to be the director of the National Security Agency, and one of you, actually this is several of you, said to me, I just want to be a kid. Now, think back to when you actually were a kid, and your parents and your teachers all told you that when you grow up, you can be anything you want. Well, it's true, even today, as you feel all grown up and ready to enter the next phase of your life, you can still grow up to be anything you want. But I'd like for you to remember this. The journey will be challenging, stressful, and sometimes difficult. But I want to tell you that the choices you make as you face those challenges and stresses will define who you become as you grow up. Life is a series of transitions, each one bringing with it its own set of fears and excitement. Please use that fear and excitement as motivation to prepare you for the life after high school and to allow it to propel you towards success. Take some time this weekend to challenge yourself to start making decisions with your future in mind. I know that by now, Dodge City High School has prepared you to understand that the decisions you make today and through the course of the next year and every day for the rest of your life will have profound impact on your future. As a class, you've proven your success and perseverance. You have excelled academically, artistically, and athletically. We're honored to have helped to provide you with the knowledge and skills that you will carry forward to the rest of your life. As I look at the young people in this class, I'm amazed and impressed by the initiative and resilience that you demonstrate every day. You've come from many walks of life, from a wide range of backgrounds, cultures, and ethnicities. You are a reflection of the ever-increasing diversity we see in our own community, our state, and in our nation. And let me tell you, for myself, as a graduate of Dodge City Senior High School, the class of oh well, we won't go into that. I've seen how united by school spirit, honor, and hope for the future that you all are. And I want to personally thank each and every one of you for carrying on that red demon pride each of us will take with us as we go into the world. One thing I know that you all have in common is the desire for a better life for yourself and for your families. And I believe that the education you've received has provided a strong foundation upon which you can build those futures. Today, you begin to decide what kind of life you are going to lead and the level of success you are going to achieve. And by success, I don't mean money, a nice house, or the perfect job. That's not the kind of success I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of success that can't be measured, the kind of success that is reflected in the impact you have on the people around you. You now have the opportunity to make history and to leave a legacy. Think about it. What do you want your legacy to be? Each of you has the chance to go out into the world to be kind, to stand up when someone is knocked down, and to help a friend in need. These are the acts of kindness that will have a rich and lasting impact on the people around you, and that is the true measure of success. And now on this important day, it's truer than ever. Today is just the beginning, and it's where you go from here that matters. Oh, and if you were the one who said, I just want to be a kid when I grow up, do me a favor and at least be the best kid that you can be. So, I urge you to do whatever you do because you love it and because you believe in its importance. And on behalf of the USD 443 Board of Education, the faculty, and the staff of Dodge City Public Schools, congratulations and best wishes to each of you.
Graduates, it's time to prepare to receive your diplomas. First row, if you would please stand.
Paul Acevedo. Mark Adame. Rosendo Adame. Mayra Aguirre de la Rosa. Eric Aguirre. Isaiah Aguirre. Adolfo Christopher Alarcon. Frank Alcala. Christian Alexis Almijo. Pablo Alonso Valadez. Alexis Altabarino. Daniel Jesus Alvarez. Evelyn Suhey Alvarez. Maria Celeste Alvarez. Francisco Ambres Zavala. George Ambres Zavala. Luis Federico Anaya Gomez. Denise Andazola. Cesar Armando Andrade Valles. Brian Aranda. Rochelle Aranda. Mike Arcos. Walter Mauricio Arevalo. Maria Guadalupe Argueta. Yesenia Arjon. Christina Alexis Arezalo. Abraham Isaias Arredondo Martinez. Magdalena Marie Arroyo. Silver Avila Martinez. Divier Avila Achoa. Michael Alexander Avilas. Armando Elias Baca. Andrew James Balderas. Alexis Banuelos. Eberardo Lauro Banuelos. Humberto Enrique Barlaga. Abel David Barraza. Celeste Barrientos. Sonia Vanessa Batista Cruz. Jesus Batista Lara. Enrique Ruben Benavides. Sydney Benish. Christopher Allen Benson. Adriel Bernadac. Caleb Reed Baville. Salvador Antonio Blanco. Levi Colt Bone. Brenna Ann Bradshaw. Mackenzie N. Brock. Dylan W. Burkhard. Kennedy Burks. Anthony James Burnett. Brandy Nicole Burns. Miranda K. Burns. Shayla Cabello. Eric Cabrera. Richard Cadena. Marilu Calleros. Oscar Carmona Ortiz. Angelica Veronica Carrasco. Luis Felipe Carrillo Munoz. Christian Castaneda. Bernice Castillo. Edward Fajardo Castillo. Miranda R. Castillo. Moises Fabian Castillo. Soshi Alejandra Sadillo. Ernesto Rafael Soron. George Alberto Chacon. Ruth Chavez Garcia. Artie Chahan. Lupe Juan Chavez. Jasmine Isabel Chavez. Noemi Nicole Chavez. Manira Yvette Chavez Salinas. Christina A. Clark. Amy Clausen. Elder Colindres. Ivan Alejandro Corrales. Jessica Cruz de la Cruz. Yesenia Cuevas. Elizabeth May Dana. Denise de la Rosa Susastegui. Alejandro de la Torre. Isaias de la Torre. Daniel de Leon. Jacqueline de Paz. Carmen Del Riel. Saul Del Riel. Emily Denton. Dakota Tristan Elaine Durstein. Katie Yvonne Dial. Andrew Doan. Juan Ramon Dominguez Millan. Miranda Donnelly. Zachary Edwin Donnelly. Rachel Durler. Victor Hugo Enriquez. Ivan Escovedo. Megan N. Esquivel. Veronica Esquivel Gonzalez. Andrea Estrada. Vanessa Estrada. Luis Vabela. Jackie Figueroa. Taylor Chloe Fisher. Sean William Vincent Fitzgerald. Tanner Joseph Flax. Jacqueline E. Flores. Mariah Nicole Foley. Sarah Madison Fotis. Grace Holly Fulton. Michael E. Gaynor. Jeanette Galindo. Emmanuel Salvador Galloway. Wendy Maricela Galvan. Pablo Garcia. Bernardo Gamboa. Alejandro Gumaro Garcia. Elizabeth Deshawn Garcia. Angelica Ann Garcia. Christian Alonso Garcia. Joel Garcia. Jose Maximiliano Garcia. Marco Antonio Garcia Cruz. David Garcia Orozco. Marisol Garcia Serrano. Abigail Ann Garbelina. David Brian Gessler. Kylie Delisa Gifford. Natalie Gomez. Chelsea Lynn Gonzalez. Brianna Mylene Gonzalez. Emily Gonzalez. Orlando Anthony Graben. Maximilian Granados. Jaquan Marcel Graves. Audrice Deshawn Griego. Stephen Grigware. Chelsea Christine Hall. Jacob Kale Harshberger. Michaela Jeanette Hastings. Caden S. Herbert. Maria Guadalupe Hernandez Arroyo. Alex Hernandez. Sheila Hernandez. Yasmin Herrera. Adrian Herrera. Charlie Herrera. Karina Ipilito. Brandy Hodgson. Keisha Lachelle Howard. Kiera Lee Hunter. Sabrina Angelica Hurtado. Ellie Andrea Ibave Zamarron. Kaswar Dahir Ibrahim. Michael Thomas Emmel. Jesse Yasso Cruz. Sydney Nicole Jester. Joachim Johansson. Anthony Bernard Jones. Cadence Keaton. Saf A. Khan. Lelia Rose Killian. Zachary L. Knober. Jan Korba. Pablo Landa. Irving Lara Richard. Jace Jimmy Larson. Jessica Lazalde. Leonardo Ernesto Leon Buendia. Ryan Lomas. Jose Eduardo Lopez Cabrera. Mario Lopez Moreno. Damian Loya. Jose Alfredo Luna Hernandez. Beatrice Macias. Raul Magana. Sergio Marban. Miguel Ricardo Marino Llamas. Lupita Hilda Marino. Michael Marino. Karen Paola Marmelejo. Eddie Marquez. Edgar Alonso Marquez. Emmanuel Marquez. Brenda Marlene Marquez Robles. Eduardo Martinez. Jose Martinez. Yanni Martinez Carrillo. Veronica Evangelina Mateo. Creighton McCain. Caitlin Marie McClure. Kyle Lee Meacham. Yvonne Medina Chavez. Anali Blanco Medrano. Leonel Mejia Lopez. George A. Mendez. Heidi Jasleen Mendez. Rebecca Mendez. Sydney Mendoza. Carlos Mendoza, Jr. Yanet Mercado. Anna Scott Meyer. Andres Millan. Oscar Giovanni Millan. Yerzbeth Millan. David Millan Gonzalez. Ashley Dawn Miloshaski. Lisbianette Mirales. Carlos Mirales Guarrama. Joshua Michael Mondragon. Viviana Anna Mondragon. Jorge Monhi. Mariah Lynn Moore. Maritza Morales. Victor Manuel Morales. Grelis Munoz Diaz. Clemente Munoz. Jamie Lee Myers. Elizabeth Nava Marino. Isabella Navrete. Citlali Navarro. Iriana Niave. Christian Niave. Carlos Negrete. Juan Negrete. Joseph Neri. Kellen R. Newton. Damian Nathaniel Wynn. Nellie Joy. Jamian C. Nunez. Jasmine Marie Nunez. Jennifer Ochoa. Fanny Ochoa Castro. Brando Ochoa Garcia. Jesus J. Ochoa Molina. Lauren Aline Oldham. Norma Yadira Oliveras. Jordan Nicole Oliveras. Mariah A. Oliveras. Zachary Quinn Oliveras. Labrero Ontiveros Jr. Marissa Faith Ontiveros. Araceli Guadalupe Ortega. Esteban Ortega Marin. Jesus Alfredo Ortega. Jorge Luis Ortega Sanchez. Magali Ortiz. Samuel Fernando Ortiz. Victor A. Ortiz. Abdi Ali Osman. Ivan Orsoño Ugalde. Corrales Oyola. Kevin Paniagua. Reagan Amber Parsons. Corey James Pedersen. Joanne Pena. Vianney Pena. Alejandro Penagos. Alan Osvaldo Perez Acuna. Cindy Perez. Freddie Perez. Jennifer K. Perez. Jonathan Andrew Perez. Juana Perez. Abby B. Pomichan. Robert Quintana. Jocelyn Adriana Ramirez. Estevan Ramirez. Oscar Ramos. Dominic Ryan Randall. Monica G. Rangel. Sarah Emily Ragowitz. Edith Scarlett Rial. Nicholas L. Reardon. Anthony Matthew Remigio. Marcus Richard Remigio. Francisco Javier Rendon. Yasmin Alejandra Rendon. Javier Ritana. Jacqueline Reyes. Miguel Angel Reyes. Samantha Livier Reyes. Cale Jacob Rickenberg. Andy Rios. Nathalie Rios Ramirez. Nayeli Rios Ramirez. Margarita Esther Rivas. Hector Rizzo Gonzalez. Cody Lee Roach. Yasleen Rocha Carrillo. Monica Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez Sanchez. Adriana Rodriguez. Anna Laura Rodriguez. Edmundo Alejandro Rodriguez. Imelda de Los Angeles Rodriguez. Mariah Nicole Rodriguez. Yasmin Rodriguez. Zadie Karina Rodriguez. Katrina Aline Roenfeld. Trey Aaron Ritzer. Kristen Lee Rogers. Cesar Alberto Rojas. Freddy Romero Salas. Ernesto Ruiz Rojas. Michael Joseph Russell. Diana Paola Salas. Anthony Sanchez. Mercedes Sanchez. Tiffany Amber Sanchez. Julian Angelo Sands. Lisa Stephanie Sacido. Marco Antonio Sacido. Austin Gregory Savage. Madison Shay Schlegel. Colton L. Schulte. Tim Christian Schwager. Jasmine Idela Serrano. Marco Cifuentes. Cassie Solis. Jackie Alexis Solis. Ricardo Solis Jr. Kaylin Marie Solis. Francisco Javier Soto. Lauro Soto Jr. Leslie Soto. James T. Spencer. Jessica Lynn Steckline. Christopher James Stotler. Moises Suarez. Raul Suarez. Aaron Robert Teben. Sadie Tinoco. Wendy Alejandra Torres. Heather B. Trent. Jade Ashton Ubel. Joanna Valdez. Jocelyn Merari Valladares. Emmanuel Valle. Juan Carlos Vallejo Doble. Ashley Marie Valverde. Abigail Vargas. Alisa Marie Vasquez. Juan Francisco Vasquez. Alejandra Valiz. Lucero Verduzco. Erica Vicuna. Jennifer Vielmas. King Taylor Vilasing. Sorvando Villa. Myrna Villa. Anna Karen Villagrana Friday. Karina Villar. Emily Vonksa. Ricky Joanne Voth. Tristan Danielle Leah Waftal. Judd Wyatt Weil. Austin M. Weiser. Hannah Kazai Wetmore. Mercedes Renee Williams. Brett Allen Wilson. Braden David Winans. Sarah Kathleen Wines. Alondra Soledad Woodring. Dalia Yanez. Vanessa Inez Ibarra. Armando Zavala. Michael Jonathan Suniga. Michaela J. Zortman. You want to carry it? Ready?
Graduates, would you please stand? It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you the 2014 graduating class of Dodge City High School. You can clap them.